It's either a bunch of mess, or either that people ain't seeing the same thing, or we're not talking about the same people, which I kind of attest to that. But at least the people that
Well,
came out
if
and
you
called the
remember,
other guy. Mm-hmm.
if you remember the guy, for people who don't know the guy, in politics, whenever you are a black guy, which we call Uncle Tom is a black guy who has white interests at heart, don't have any black interests at heart. They call you Uncle Tom. When you're Uncle Tom, just like this senator is an Uncle Tom, they look at you and give you high positions because they respect that you look down on black people. Let me give you an example of the first Uncle Tom that you know of who made it to the Supreme Court. There was a man who had a wife. He married her because she was white to get that white privilege. And he had just joined the bar, and he was going to be appointed to the Chief Justice under the Bush administration. In the meantime, he was messing with Anita Hill and sexually harassing her, making comments, let her see your titties and stuff like that. And she said, I think this is very inappropriate. So she went to the Senate majority meeting, Senate committee meeting, to tell he shouldn't be judged because he did this to me, he did that to me. And what did they say? I think you're an educated woman, and you should use your education to come up with something more educated than these charges. Same thing with the next judge. They said he was back in college with the black face. He looks down on
Kavanaugh.
black people. Kavanaugh. Woman coming forth saying, he touched me inappropriately. He's a judge because he looks down on black people. Clarence Thomas is the judge with Anita Hill. He looked down on black people. What's the first thing he did when he took the office? Got rid of affirmative action, which is how he got the job. So there's no more affirmative action because he got rid of it. Thank you, Clarence.
you got an email address? I'm going to email you something on Clarence Thomas.
info@bmoretalk.org.
Clarence Thomas is bad off of you guys. People make him out to be. I'm going to send you something.
The subject guy. The subject guy, he was making a comment about Monica Lewinsky. Looks familiar in that position. Commenting to
Cedric, this guy over here in Louisiana?
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Well, that's the comment that he had made about 3 or 4 years ago.
Why come women ain't coming out against him?
Because if you are Uncle Tom, they usually don't come out against you because they like people that's talking bad about black people. When you're talking
info@bmore.com.
Yep. When you're talking good about black people,
MORE.
BMORETALK.org.
That's an email?
Yep, info@bmoretalk.org.
Okay. Well, anyway, there it is. I was just wondering why come the naysayers ain't saying nothing.
You didn't call him a coon. Well, they ain't gonna call him no coon. He don't get that. He don't get the position.
Then look at this guy Yang from California.
He talked bad about black people, and look where he at. They ain't calling him no coon. They just call him a sellout.
Look at Yang from California. He was running for the Democratic nomination. He's saying he's gonna move his entire family to Louisiana, to Georgia, so they can vote for these senators. Now that's against the law for him to do. And he was vying for the Democratic nomination, one of the 24. So I wonder if this is going to be brought up against him in the future, of him openly stating he's going to break the law.
Well, they can't charge him with it because Clinton did it. Remember, Clinton had a house in New York. That's how Hillary. I meant to say Hillary. That's how she got to become a New York senator because she didn't live in New York. She lived in Arkansas, but she had a property in New York, her family's house. So they used that as her residence to give her that New York senator position. She wasn't qualified to be no New York senator position. Just because you got a house don't mean nothing. You got to live there and get mail there. So she breaks the she broke the law every which way she can. So I don't put nothing past her.
Well, hell, they say that about Maxine Waters too. Of course, I can't talk about them states I don't live in.
Well, she got to go. She long overdue. Anytime you're a senator, you talking about chopping off the president's head. Go somewhere and sit down. It's time to go.
People like her.
They like her because she get that early onset Alzheimer's, I guess. When you start talking crazy.
Then she got her dressed. You could fill up with sand and look good.
And she in the history books, so I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, I was looking at the video about the guy, the suspect, running over the police officer. I don't know.
Yeah, Amy DiCaprio.
Well, this is another one I seen on YouTube. Yeah, they were treating the guy. This was a black male. They was treating him nice. Let him get out the car, and he was supposed to have been getting his identification. They asked him, "You got a weapon?" He said, "No." Okay, go ahead and get it. He gets out the car. In the meantime, the police officer comes around to the front of the truck. The next thing I know, looking at the camera's going all over the place. Man must have tried to run him over. Then the next thing we seen the cop crawling around the ground, and he rolled over and passed out.
Oh, he probably did get rolled over. But see, that's common sense 101. In the military police, we're trained to tell people, shut the engine off. They ain't got to worry about getting run over.
And you know what? I think it was. I don't know if it was shut off or not. I know he got out the car. And
most times they just put it in park and keep it running.
I think it was two cops there too. It says police officer get ran over. I don't know what city it was in. Shit, I wouldn't be I couldn't be a cop. Police body cam video shows officer run over by suspect. This is Fairburn, wherever Fairburn is.
But where do we go wrong with this anti-police atmosphere?
Well, I tell you one thing. I think a lot of it has to do with no respect for authority at home. I was talking to some woman, host, and I was telling her that I voted for Donald Trump because of his issue. Oh, no, you didn't. You know how they do. So I said, yes. I tell them about the taxes. And I said, well, a married couple has got double the amount of exempt income from $12,000 to $24,000. You know what she told me? Well, how is that helping black people when 85% of the houses at home is ran by a single person? Now, how do you answer that?
It means that she don't understand math, because I had a problem with that my whole life. Why is a single person taxed higher and a married person is taxed lower when you have a two-income household?
Well, you know why? Because they try to encourage marriage. That's what it's about.
They also feel as though you don't need your money because it's just you, so they can take more of it.
I told her too. Single person standard deduction doubled too, from $6,000 to $12,000. So it don't do no good what you tell people that's misinformed. They just gonna roll with what they think or what they decipher from what they heard on the news.
I just repeat
but
what
anyway,
somebody else said.
Anyway, there's some good news. There's a social media that's coming out that's going to do the same thing that Facebook does, and one that's coming out that's going to do the same thing that Twitter does. So we don't have to depend on those two censorship. Don't like what you say, cut you off, and put you in jail. Outlets. Speak competition is good anyway. Always.
Well, them two people done got rich off of everybody anyway. It's time to bring some new blood in.
Yeah. It's unbiased and won't be censoring what you say or not letting you say what you want to say and stuff like that. But anyway, man, I'm going to let you guys...
That your comment is hate speech or whatever, which is not hate speech.
It doesn't go with their community standards, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's what they keep saying. Hate
speech. But anyway, I'll email you that. You guys go ahead on, man, and have a nice time. I thought you was going to have a guest on.
I thought we was too, but I guess we got intimidated.
Well, what kind of guests were they?
Doctor, about the pandemic and dealing with children who they're trying to say when children not in school, it's affecting them some kind of way, not being able to socialize with other children. But I know that the homeschooling mess ain't working because ain't nobody checking the homework. You getting high school diplomas and don't know nothing. So it ain't no different than what it was before.
Well, there's some that work with teachers. Like I work with my teacher, my son's teacher, and we do testing every year. When he's finished his homeschooling work, he's testing every year and see whether he's good or not, or see if he wanted to pass or not. For the point, he's now in the 10th grade, and now he's skipping grades back and forth. So, for the little one, we're still waiting for our box to come in and all that stuff and get stuff ready for him. So,
let me ask Pianki before Pianki go. If the poll question was, would you submit to mandatory COVID testing and vaccination, or would you rather have it as optional?
I'm not going to take no test, no. No, I'm not taking no vaccine, no. And, I was listening to a lady who was an expert in masks, or face covering.
Yeah.
And she said that masks don't work. And that N95 is a respirator.
Same thing. So if Fauci said the same thing, why everybody keeps saying Donald Trump is a liar?
I don't know.
I got a recording of Fauci saying you can wear all the masks you want. It's not going to stop the spread of the virus. Now, all of a sudden, everybody got amnesia and don't remember that he said it. That's the first thing out of his mouth.
Right. That's what she said. She said that the mask will not, the mask is not designed for that. And she said that the N95 is a respirator. There's a difference between a mask and a respirator. And you can't get away from viruses. Virus all over the damn place.
Yeah. Even pollen is a virus.
Yeah. So this whole thing
it's
was nothing but this whole thing was nothing more than a ploy, especially in the campaign season, to get rid of Trump. And,
right. So that's what they say. He lost the election because he didn't do well. The economy went downhill.
Yeah,
but that was still part of Obama's doing, because if Obama and John Kerry told China to stop launching those missiles, then they wouldn't be sick. But because he went over there and said, well, that's the best we could do, was tell them to slow it down, and they kept launching the missiles. And then one day,
especially
Facebook
with the depleted uranium.
Right. That's radiation.